Listen closely, chosen ones. There's something powerful about people who keep going despite everything thrown at them. That's you. You're not ordinary. You're chosen. The kind of person who shakes the room just by walking into it, not because you try to, but because your spirit carries a weight others can feel, even if they don't understand it. And when people don't understand your light, they try to dim it. That's what they did, isn't it? They didn't come at you with honesty or respect. They came with twisted words, fake smiles, and whispers behind your back. They used lies like weapons, hoping they could cut you down to size. They told stories about you, not because they knew you, but because they feared you. That's the truth they never wanted to admit. Weak people don't attack other weak people. They attack strength. They attack potential. And you were the biggest threat in the room. But here's what they forgot. Words are like knives. They might feel sharp at first, but even the sharpest blade dulls over time. Truth, on the other hand, never fades. Truth cuts clean and deep. It doesn't need to shout or prove itself. It just is. And when it finally shows up, no lie can stand in its way. They thought they could destroy you by turning people against you. They wore masks and played roles, stacking lie on lie like bricks, trying to build walls around you. But those lies didn't trap you. They trapped them. Because the truth always finds a way out, and those walls they built, they're crumbling. They whispered in dark corners, thinking if they repeated a lie often enough, it would become real. But the truth has a way of standing still while lies run themselves tired. They tried to start a fire in your name, but forgot something important. Fires die out. And when the rain of truth comes, every false flame is washed away. They spread gossip like wildfire across dry grass. It caught quickly. People looked. People talked. For a moment, it felt like maybe they were winning. Maybe their lies were working. But here's the thing about wildfires. They burn hot and fast, but they burn out. And while they were busy setting everything on fire, you were quietly becoming the storm. Storms don't care about sparks. Storms bring rain. They bring change. And you were never here to blend in. You were made to break patterns, to shake foundations, to be the voice they couldn't silence. That's why they feared you. That's why they came for you. But they didn't know who they were dealing with. They thought they could bury you. But you weren't a body, you were a seed. And everything they threw on you, it only helped you grow. Their hate became your soil. Their insults became your water. And their lies, they became the sunlight that exposed everything they were trying to hide. You didn't need to fight back. You didn't need to stoop to their level. You let your silence speak louder than their noise. You led your peace disturb their chaos. And the higher you rose, the more their lies fell apart. They thought they were writing your ending. Instead, they gave you a stronger beginning. Now the air has shifted. Can you feel it? Something's changing. The very people who once believed the lies are starting to ask questions. They're waking up. Because lies might entertain, but truth sticks. And when the dust clears, people start seeing what was real all along. You never had to force anything. You never had to scream or prove your worth. You just kept moving, kept showing up, kept rising. And that rising, it scares them. Because it means all the energy they used trying to destroy you was wasted. You're still here, still standing, still shining. And nothing they did worked. They celebrated too early. They thought they'd won. But the universe, it doesn't operate on their timeline. It moves with purpose, with justice. Every lie they told, every back they stabbed, every trick they pulled, it's all been recorded. Not by you, but by the universe. And that ledger, It always balances. See, you don't need revenge. You don't have to clap back, because the karma they called in is already on its way. You don't need to fight dirty to win when the truth is on your side. You don't need to chase what's already yours. The same people who laughed when you were low will be the ones watching as you rise higher than they ever imagined. They thought your silence meant defeat, but really, it meant you were focused. They thought you'd break, but instead, you built. You turned every insult into a brick and built a castle. You used every challenge as fuel. You turned every setback into a setup. And now, they're the ones looking over their shoulders, wondering when it all comes crashing down. You don't have to lift a finger. Just keep rising. Keep walking in your truth, because that's your greatest weapon, the fact that you survived, that you're still becoming, that you never needed to destroy them to grow. You just needed time. Now the cracks are showing in their stories. The same crowd they fooled is beginning to see the truth. Their empire was built on sand, and the tide is coming in. Let them laugh for now. Let them pretend. Because when the wave hits, it won't be you who gets swept away. You never needed to defend your name. Your actions did that for you. Your strength wasn't in how loud you were, but in how calm you stayed. That's what shook them the most. That you didn't crumble. That you didn't lash out. That you held your peace like a sword and let time do the cutting. They wanted you to fall, but instead you rose. And every time you succeed, it burns them a little more. Every win you collect proves they were wrong. Every step forward proves they never stopped you. And now they have to live with that. Because nothing haunts a liar more than the person they lied about becoming undeniable. They hope people would forget the truth, but you made it impossible to ignore. Your light is too strong. Your spirit too loud. They threw shadows at you, but light doesn't need to fight darkness. It just needs to be. And your glow? It's blinding. Every breath you take is a reminder you made it. You didn't just survive, you thrived. You grew through what was meant to break you. And now the world sees it. You were never meant to be hidden. That's why they tried so hard to bury you. Let them keep running from the truth. Let them keep spinning stories. They're in a race they can't win. You don't have to outrun them. You just have to keep moving forward. Truth always wins in the end. And it's your time now. They walk around with smiles on their faces, but inside, their souls are screaming. They act like everything's fine, like nothing ever happened. They laugh in public, tell jokes, share stories, but behind those laughs are lies. They tried to bury the truth with charm, thinking they could laugh over betrayal like it was just another punchline. But betrayal echoes louder than laughter. It lingers. It grows. It sinks back to them in the quiet moments they try so hard to avoid. They convince themselves that if enough people believed their lies, the lies would become reality. They thought that if they spread the rumors far enough, repeated them often enough, they'd sound like truth. But truth doesn't fade. It doesn't go away just because someone tells a better story. Lies are loud, but truth is patient, and patient truth always catches up. Now they pretend they've moved on. They parade around, acting like their hands are clean. But the truth is, no one escapes consequences. Guilt has a long memory. It shows up in the silence, in the dark, in the stillness of the night. It lives in the pit of their stomach. It whispers in their own voice when no one else is around. Guilt doesn't need a spotlight. It follows quietly, like a shadow. They thought that ruining your name would bring them peace. That if they made you the villain, they'd feel like the hero. They were wrong. Tearing you down didn't lift them up. All it did was dig them deeper into their own mess. They tried to turn the world against you, hoping it would keep their own guilt at bay. But lies don't cancel truth. They just postpone the reckoning. And the reckoning always comes. They fill their days with noise, music, screens, constant talking, anything to avoid silence. Because they know what happens when it gets quiet. That's when the truth shows up. That's when the masks fall off. That's when the mirror appears. And in that mirror, they don't see the confident face they show the world. They see what they've done. They see every false word, every twisted story, every cruel laugh. And they can't look away. Justice doesn't rush. It doesn't announce itself. It waits. It waits until they feel secure again, until they build their illusion high and wide. Then, when they're comfortable, when they think they've won, it arrives. And it shatters everything. They never hesitated to hurt you. They thought hurting you would be easy, cheap, and free of consequences. But nothing we do is ever free. Every choice has a price. Every lie they told is now a weight they carry. It shows up in restless nights and nervous energy. It shows up in the way they fidget, the way they can't sit still, the way they search for approval like they're gasping for air. They thought they could steal your peace without losing their own. But that's not how the universe works. The pain they meant for you has circled back to them. And while they act like everything's fine, the cracks are showing. Their confidence is fake. Their smiles are strained. They talk too much, trying to convince everyone and themselves that they're okay. But deep down, they're not. They're scared. The walls are closing in, and they feel it. The truth is getting closer, and there's no escape. Let them keep pretending. Let them keep performing. The louder they boast about peace, the more you know they're trying to drown out the chaos inside. They built their story on lies, hoping the crowd would believe it. They thought your silence meant you had no defense, but they didn't realize that silence is a weakness. Silence is power gathering. They tried shaping the story like wet clay, molding new rumors each day. But repetition without truth is hollow. Eventually, one strong gust of truth will blow the whole thing down. That gust is coming. You didn't have to scream. You didn't fight fire with fire. You just kept building. While they wasted time spinning stories, you were focused on growing. You worked in silence. And now your results speak louder than their noise ever could. Your success is your response. Look at them now. They're not laughing like before. Their jokes aren't as loud. Their eyes keep darting around, checking who's still listening, who stopped clapping. They feel the shift. People are starting to notice. Some are stepping away. Others are watching quietly. Their timeline is slipping. Where once they bragged, now they retreat. Where they once shouted, now they whisper. You've changed, too. They tried to isolate you. They thought cutting you off would break you. But solitude made you stronger. When outside voices disappeared, your inner voice grew louder. You began to trust yourself more. Every hit they sent your way became a lesson. Every rejection turned into redirection. Every setback became part of your comeback. They tried to starve you of love, but you rooted yourself deep. You found strength where they thought there was none. And now you've risen. Every insult became fuel. Every betrayal sharpened your vision. They tried to break you, and in doing so, they built someone unshakable. They were chasing fast wins, hoping their lives would give them a shortcut. But the truth doesn't race. It walks, it builds, and it lasts. You've played the long game. And now, it's your turn. The proof is showing up everywhere. Your work speaks for itself. People see it. They respect it. And your success shines in ways that no rumor can dim. They stay up late, scrolling, checking who's reacting, who still believes them. Meanwhile, you rest. Because you don't need attention, you have peace. You don't chase applause, you attract support. You don't beg for validation, you earn it through presence, patience, and purpose. The universe always keeps track. Where they planted fear, fear grows. Where you planted focus, progress blooms. They wanted everyone to doubt you. But now, even their supporters are starting to question. The lies are wearing thin. The truth is undeniable. Some people who once repeated their stories will change their tune. They'll say, "I didn't know." They'll say, "I made a mistake." And you won't even have to say, "I told you so." Your life will be proof enough. You'll shine without needing to explain. Because real character doesn't need a defense. It just stands. They tried to erase you. But now you've become a landmark. A living example of grace under fire. Of silence used wisely. Of resilience that can't be faked. You didn't fold. You didn't disappear. You simply kept walking. And they'll try one more time. Maybe they'll cry. Maybe they'll apologize. Maybe they'll try to rewrite the past, hoping you'll forget the damage. Don't be fooled. Their regret isn't always real. It's fear, not remorse. They're scared the mask has finally fallen off. But you're just beginning. You're still rising. Every painful chapter has shaped you into someone wiser. Every lonely night taught you to love yourself more. Every bit of darkness trained your eyes to find the light faster. So keep walking. Keep building. Each step is part of your story. Each breath is a reminder you survived. You outgrew their version of you. They can't outrun the truth. And you no longer need to chase anything. Spring has arrived. Your ideas, your strength, your name, it's all blooming again. They thought they buried you, but you were just deceived. Frost didn't kill you, it made you stronger. Let the rumors blow behind you like dust. Let the laughter that mocked you become just another sound in the distance. Your focus is forward, and as you move ahead, they're stuck looking back. They'll say it was luck, but you'll know it was focus, consistency, and heart. And that quiet knowledge, that calm power inside your chest, it's more than enough. When the light is strong, shadows can't survive. That's the truth. No matter how much darkness someone tries to bring, it can't last when the truth begins to shine. They thought they were in control. They acted like they were running the show, pulling strings, spreading lies. They really believed they had power over your story. But that belief, it was never real. It was just a moment, a trick, a false sense of control that is now falling apart. Cracks are showing. The act is failing. And deep down, they know it. Even now, they keep watching you. They check your page, listen in on conversations, try to read your silence. They're still obsessed, still studying every move you make. And why? Because you never gave in. Even after they tried to poison your name, you stayed standing. You didn't fight back the way they expected. You didn't scream or beg or break. You just kept going. Rising, thriving. That's what scares them the most. You didn't have to lift a finger to prove them wrong. And now the energy is shifting. The people who once believed their side of the story are starting to notice something's off. They're asking questions. They're comparing what was said to what's actually true. They're peeling back the curtain and seeing through the lies. The more people doubt, the weaker the false image becomes. The more the truth comes out, the more the illusion collapses. Lies age badly. They require effort to maintain. You have to remember every twist, every retelling. But the truth, The truth stands quietly, patiently. It waits for the right moment. And eventually, the same lies that were once their armor begin to expose them. Their own words turn against them. Their timeline falls apart. And when that moment hits, when the truth finally breaks through, there will be no way out. No excuses. No, I didn't mean it. By then, the light will be too strong, and every shadow that used to hide in will disappear. You don't need to waste energy chasing them. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. Just stand in your truth. That's enough. Every day the sun rises, your truth gets louder and they get smaller. Some people are their own punishment. They thought they avoided karma, but they've been living in it all along. Every lie, every betrayal, every attempt to ruin you, it all came with a cost. And they're paying it, whether they realize it or not. They tried to bury your name. They spread rumors. They wanted people to turn against you. And maybe, for a second, you were tempted to clap back. Maybe you wanted to show them what it felt like. But you didn't. Because you understood something powerful. They're not worth it. They're already hurting. They walk around like they won, but their lives tell another story. Look closer and you'll see the pattern. Chaos follows them everywhere. They lose peace. They lose people. Every relationship they touch turns toxic. The same tricks they used on you show up in every connection they make. The same drama, the same lies, the same fake charm. They live in fear, always looking over their shoulder, worried someone will treat them the way they treated you. That's their prison. They dug it themselves. You don't need revenge. The universe handles that. Balance always finds a way. You don't need to lift a single finger. They damaged something real. They mishandled someone pure. And now, all they can do is watch from a distance as you rise higher than they ever imagined. That's why they keep lurking. They never admit it, but they check in hoping to see you fall. They want proof that you're still bleeding. But instead, every time they look, you're glowing. And it burns them. Because they know they lost the chance to walk beside you. You were a gift, and they threw it away. Now, they're stuck with themselves. And that's a punishment worse than anything you could have given them. Let them sit in the mess they made. Let them stew in it. You don't need to fix it. The best revenge is living well, thriving, growing, moving in silence while they fade into background noise. You were never on the same level. You were always meant to lead. And now they finally see it. Time always shows what's real. Masks fall off. Pretenders get exposed. They thought they could lie forever, that no one would notice. But lies are heavy. They take energy. They fall apart under pressure. Truth, on the other hand, doesn't need maintenance. It stands tall by itself. It doesn't need editing or spin. At first, their story sounded smooth, but no one can keep a lie straight forever. Eventually, timelines start to clash. Details get mixed. People start to notice the inconsistencies. Those who cheered for their drama in the beginning, they grow quiet. Because even gossip lovers get tired of the same messy story. And once the lies start unraveling, even their closest allies start backing away. No one wants to go down with a sinking ship. They're alone now. And the same spotlight they chased is the same one that's now exposing all their cracks. You don't need to scream or defend yourself. Just wait. The truth always makes noise at the perfect time. When it hits, it'll be loud, clear, and impossible to deny. The lies they spread about you will come full circle. The stones they threw will return to them. And the eyes that once judged you, they'll turn to them instead. They thought they could ruin your reputation. But what they didn't understand is that reputation is just a shadow. It can be changed, shaped, smeared. But character is solid. It doesn't shift. It doesn't break. They couldn't touch that part of you, no matter how hard they tried. And over time, people start to see the difference. They notice that your actions never match their stories. Your consistency exposed their lies. And here's the twist. Every attack they made on you revealed more about them than you. Their desperation, their need to control the narrative, their fear of being seen for who they really are. It all came through. People remember who stays calm during chaos, who holds steady when storms hit. And you were that person. That's why you've already won. They gambled away their integrity. You kept yours. They borrowed followers, fans, attention. But you earned your respect. That can't be faked. And now, as their version of the story crumbles, all eyes are on the real truth. And it's your character that shines brightest. They're panicking now, trying to rewrite history, trying to spin new versions. But it's too late. Time has already done its job. You are still standing, stronger than ever, and the world sees them for what they are. Their names are now connected to deception, not power. That's what happens when you play with lies. They eventually play you back. They needed applause. You needed purpose. They fed off attention. You moved in quiet confidence. That's why you're still rising. That's why their words can't reach you anymore. Their lies were never about you. They were trying to hide from themselves. You were just the mirror. You didn't chase their approval. And that silence, it echoed. It hit them harder than any words could. They don't know how to exist without attention. You, on the other hand, built your power in solitude. You didn't need the crowd. You needed clarity. You got it. And now, every lie they told is unraveling. The web they spun is collapsing. Because the thing about lies is, they don't last. They demand new versions, constant effort. But truth, it stands forever. And it's standing with you. Let them talk. Let them spiral. Let them try to fix what they broke. But don't look back. You're not going their way. Your path is forward, clear, powerful, and unstoppable. You didn't just survive. You ascended. And now they get to sit with the knowledge that they lost something they'll never find again. You. So hold your head high. Walk your path. The shift has already begun. And soon the world will hear the truth louder than ever. They'll remember who stood strong in silence. And they'll know you were always the real one. They tried everything to break you. Whispered lies behind your back. Spread rumors. Twisted the truth so much they couldn't tell what was real anymore. They wanted to see you down, broken, crawling, begging for relief. But every time you took a step forward, you cracked their lies open a little more. Your progress was a quiet, steady hammer, driving the final nails into the coffin of every false story they told. They couldn't handle your strength. Your calm scared them. Your ability to stay grounded while they were loud and messy made them feel weak. And that's what made them dangerous. They gossiped. They betrayed your trust. They told stories in the dark, hoping no one would see what they were really doing. But people did see. Maybe they didn't say anything then, but they remembered everything. What your enemies didn't expect was that you wouldn't fight back with hate. You didn't need revenge. You didn't clap back. You didn't lower yourself to their level. You just kept going. You stayed focused. You stayed silent. And that silence, it spoke louder than any noise they could make. It terrified them because they didn't know what you were thinking. or what your next move was. That silence was power. They painted you as fragile. They hoped you'd break, but you stood stronger than ever. They called you a failure, but you kept succeeding. Every win you stacked became a mirror they couldn't avoid. When they looked into it, they didn't see you failing, they saw themselves falling. Every lie they told started to unravel. Every scheme they built began to collapse. And that's when the truth started to rise. You didn't expose them. You didn't need to. The truth doesn't rush. It doesn't beg for attention. It waits. And when it arrives, it doesn't just speak, it proves. It proves that all their efforts to destroy you were wasted. It proves that they lost the very moment you chose growth over revenge. Now they watch you win, and it burns them. You're building new things, reaching new heights, growing in ways they never imagined. And the worst part? They're stuck in the same loops, the same mindset, the same bitterness they tried to trap you in. But you walked away from all of it. And that image of you walking away, it haunts them. They thought they had control of the story, that their lies would become the only version of the truth people believed. But they forgot something very important. People were watching. Quietly, silently. Some never spoke up, but they listened. They saw patterns. They noticed inconsistencies. And now, those same people are the ones asking questions, connecting dots, speaking up when it matters. Their lies left a trail. Every fake story, every act, every whispered word, it all left breadcrumbs. And the people they thought were fooled, they were just watching, waiting, remembering. Now, as the truth comes out, those same quiet witnesses are starting to talk. They're bringing out receipts, facts, timelines, evidence. And your enemies? They're scrambling because they didn't think this moment would come. But it has, and it's only getting louder. They thought karma was going to be some dramatic lightning strike from the sky. But karma rarely shows up like that. Karma is slow, quiet, patient. Karma is watching someone you tried to break become someone you can't even reach anymore. That's the real justice, your progress, your elevation, your peace. That's what cuts the deepest. They expected you to fight them directly, but you never had to. You just kept growing. You kept focusing on yourself. You let your work speak. You let your achievements speak. You let your life speak. And every time someone says your name now, the room shifts. People feel your presence, your energy, your truth. And them, they're still talking, still plotting, still hoping for a downfall that's not coming. They're stuck in the past, and you've already moved on. Their drama doesn't reach you anymore. Their words don't sting. You're too far ahead, and they know it. That's why they're scared. Now, the very people they counted on to believe the lies are the ones starting to doubt them. The story isn't adding up anymore. The characters in their version of events don't match. The timelines are off, and the pawns they once used, they're waking up. They're stepping away. They're tired of being part of the show. You never needed to fight. Your peace was your power. Your stillness was your strength. They used every bit of energy trying to control how others saw you. But now, people are seeing the truth for themselves. And the truth doesn't need permission to be believed. It just needs time. They were so loud, so desperate to be heard. They kept repeating their lies, thinking if they said it enough, it would become real. But repetition doesn't equal truth. And while they were draining themselves, you were conserving energy. While they were playing checkers, you were playing chess. You weren't still because you were defeated. You were still because you were watching the whole board. Now the lies are catching up with them. Their own words are starting to trap them. The web they spun is collapsing. They kept trying to edit their story, but too many people have seen the raw footage. The performance is over. The mask is off. People are noticing. Their smiles seem forced. Their jokes don't land. There's a weight around them now, consequences. The things they thought they buried are resurfacing. And it's not you bringing them up. It's life. It's truth. It's the people who were quiet before but can't stay silent anymore. You don't even have to say a word. The evidence speaks for you. The truth stands beside you. And every time you succeed, it's a reminder they lost. They wasted their energy trying to stop someone who was never even playing their game. And now they can't escape the fallout of their own actions. They thought if they made you the villain loud enough, people would forget who started it all. But now the audience is asking questions. The story doesn't make sense anymore. The plot holes are showing, and those who once clapped for them are starting to walk out of the theater. You became the proof that truth outlasts lies, that peace is more powerful than noise, that growth speaks louder than gossip. And now your story is inspiring others, people who have also been silenced, doubted, betrayed. You're showing them that healing is possible, that rising is possible, that winning without revenge is not only possible, it's powerful. They wanted to own the conversation, but now just hearing your name makes people pause, makes them listen, makes them think twice. That's real presence. And it doesn't need a microphone to be felt. They wanted you to need validation, but you didn't. You trusted your journey. You trusted timing. You trusted the universe. And that trust is paying off. Every new door that opens for you is a reminder of what they couldn't block. Every success is a loud answer to their quiet doubts. And while they keep looking over their shoulder, stuck in fear of what might come out next, you're just moving forward, light, free, and unstoppable. They're left with what they created. Their own words, their own choices, their own legacy of deception. While your legacy, it's becoming one of resilience, growth, and truth. They buried themselves trying to bury you. And now the world is watching it all unfold. So keep walking, keep building, keep rising. Let your life continue to be the answer. You never had to shout to be heard. You just had to keep going. And look where you are now.